So you want to become an absolute gigachad and win every domination game against the Deity AI? Well, you're in luck, because today I'm going to be going over 5 huge strategies / tips so that you can dominate and get bragging rights over the AI before Siri starts brainwashing you and turns you into a bitch. My amigos, culture is the way to go. It is more important than science early on, but before you start leaving hurtful insults towards my mother, let me explain. To rapidly boost through the tech tree early on, to do a horseman rush or swordsman rush, you can very easily abuse the hell out of Eurekas to get there quicker. For example, a horseman rush, you need to kill a unit with a slinger and make a pasture to allow you to Eureka boost your entire way there. And for a swordsman rush, you only need to kill 3 barbarians and make an iron mine to trigger all the Eurekas that you require. Therefore, science isn't required straight away, as you can trigger Eurekas to compensate for the moronic nature of your empire. Culture, on the other hand, is crucial for the early game, especially because we want to unlock civics such as military tradition for flanking and support combat bonuses, craftsmanship for extra production towards military units and melee units, especially as they're the backbone of your army, or at least they should be the backbone of your army. However, most importantly, we want a strong culture so we can get PP as quick as possible. PP referring to the less commonly known civic called political philosophy. PP is also important as it gives you access to your first government, and for a domination victory, oligarchy is the way to go, with its potential for 3 military cards and 4 combat strength and increased experience for units. So taking this into account, you should definitely be making monuments in all cities possible to generate more culture, help you get PP faster. My parents are probably concerned right now as they can hear me repeatedly saying PP, but anywho, ultimately strong culture early on gives you PP quicker and access to better cards for your early game domination. When it comes to siege units in Civ 6, they're comparable to the equivalent of an under 10s basketball team playing in the NBA. Now let me explain. Catapults and trebuchets both have very low hit points and take ages to set up, so often by the time you're set up to attack a city, they are already 6 feet under, but don't you worry, there's still a way that you can take down those pesky ancient era and medieval walls, and this is where battering rams and siege towers come in. By linking them to a swordsman or men-at-arms unit, you are able to do significant damage to city walls and obliterate through the AI Deity cities quicker than you obliterated the toilet after a Taco Bell feast. Now there are 3 main reasons that make battering rams and siege towers so much better than catapults and trebuchets. They are more mobile, having the same movement points as their melee counterparts, and don't take an extra turn to set up like siege units do. They also share the same hit points to whatever they are attached to, meaning that if they are attached to a men-at-arms unit, good luck stopping them, because they are definitely gonna be one beefy unit. And thirdly, the trebuchet is a French word, and do we really trust the French? Catherine. Before we continue, this video is sponsored by absolutely no one, so please drop a like and sub and save me from dumpster diving for my dinner tonight. Now, if you're able to never lose troops in Civ 6, then you are literally the best player on the face of the earth. I really don't know why you're watching this video, but for me and my fellow simpletons, focusing on not losing troops in the early game is very important. Think about it like this with me. You lose a slinger at the start of the game. That's like 7 to 10 turns of production wasted, and you're going to have to spend even more production on army replacements for the slinger rather than on settlers or districts, meaning this will really set you back. But even more important is gaining promotions on your units early on, as this is going to make them way stronger than other units you're fighting later on. So if you're able to start gaining promotions on a unit like a warrior, for example, and keep him alive and continue gaining promotions through fighting barbarians and other civs, then towards the late game you're going to have a fully promoted melee unit that you can turn into an army or corps to have one of the strongest units in the game. So some ways you can be a little more conservative to avoid losing troops is killing barbarian scouts before they report back to their camp after finding your city, as once they do this, they're going to be sending hordes of barbs heading straight at your cities, which pretty much guarantees that you're going to end up losing some troops fighting off these barbarians. Another way you can save troops is play more conservative. If your troop is damaged, potentially bring them back a bit or see if you can promote them or pillage a tile, as this will give you health back. And my final tip for avoiding losing troops is to utilize terrain, as it can give you combat bonuses. For example, a unit on a hill gets extra combat when units attack it, as it has high ground. The same effect happens when units have to cross a river to attack, they will take more damage, so you definitely want to take advantage of terrain when you can. Now, it can be very satisfying doing your own schoolwork, but what's more satisfying is making someone else do it for you, and that is precisely what tip number 4 is about, which is not making your own campuses but stealing them instead off the hands of neighboring civs. Now, while your people people may have an IQ of below 20 due to their lack of science production. This won't be for long as you will capture AI cities, and due to their extreme handicap, they will most definitely already have campuses that you can take and get your science looking real good. This means that you can spend a lot more time and production towards making units to take more cities, ultimately ending in a win-win as you get hella science, which you most definitely need to continue advancing through the tech tree for stronger units, and you can still hold your title as the big spoon of Civilization 6 with your dominating army. Tip number 5 is to never stop unit production, which may sound like a basic ass piece of advice, but there is actually a lot more to it, so let me explain. Obviously, when going for a domination victory, you're going to need a big army to continue taking cities, but by stopping unit production to get more districts, you're definitely going to be halting your progress. Now, don't get me wrong, districts are very important and provide you with important yields, but since the majority of your cities are previously owned by AI, they would have already made quite a number of districts, meaning that you won't have to spend as much time making districts. But of course, there will be occasions where building an industrial zone for that extra production or a commercial hub to pay for that unit maintenance can be very beneficial. But in general, you want to be making units continuously, so much to the point that your army is big enough to be fighting 2 civs at once. And tip 3 ties really well into this tip 2, because if you're being a bit more conservatively aggressive, which doesn't completely make sense, but if you're being aggressive trying to attack cities and take them out, but also trying to not lose units, you'll be continuously adding to your military without too many losses, saving time and production. A little bonus tip for the video, because I am just that guy, is to not be afraid to raise cities. As you are a domination warlord, your people often don't tend to like you all that much. I wonder why, especially the people in the cities you try to capture, causing your loyalty in those cities to be down in the negatives. Now, instead of trying to fight against the disloyal simpletons, sometimes you just gotta burn that bad boy down and continue with capturing other cities rather than wasting time continuously losing that city to loyalty and then regaining it and so on. Now you're ready to become a domination machine. However, there are a few huge mistakes you may be making in Civ 6, so check out this video to find out what they are. Thank you guys so much for watching.